Hello, welcome to Introduction to Java Programming. In this session, we will discuss about string comparison in Java. Let's begin. String comparison in Java can be done in three ways. In fact, there are two methods, equals and compare to method, and there is one operator that is actually double equal to operator. Let's understand now. So we can compare strings with the help of equals method, and there is a variant of equals, that is equals ignore case method. This is the first way. What happens here is the equals method compares the contents or values of those string objects. Okay, so after comparing, it returns a boolean. So when you say boolean, you have two options, either true or false actually. So if the strings are equal, then it's going to give us true. If they are not equal, then it's going to give us false. And the way how we use actually is like this. So we have two strings, s1 and s2. s1 dot equals of s2, right? So if you write like this, so either it can give you true or false. And when you are comparing, it is actually comparing the values, right? And you don't want a case to be bothered. That means no case has to be considered. So capital A or small a both are equal, then you can actually go with the equals ignore case. The case is going to get ignored. So that's about the equals method. And then we have another method to compare the string objects, that is compare to method. And we have compare to ignore case also. This compare to also compares the contents or the values. So it will take the values. For example, S1 is Sachin, S2 is Saurav. So Sachin and Saurav will be compared. That means that is actually what is called contents or the values. And it compares the contents and returns integer. It's not going to return as Boolean, it's going to be integer actually. And let's assume S1 and S2 are two strings. Then if S1 is greater than S2, S1 is greater than S2. So greater than in the sense what? It compares character by character. Okay, first character there and first character here in the both the string S1 and S2. If first character is greater than the second character, then it gives you a positive value. That is nothing but the difference between both the values. Okay, for example, let's say I have here, so Sachin is there and Rohit is there. Okay, so let's say S1 is Sachin, S1 equal to Sachin and S2 equal to Rohit. Okay, so now which is bigger, which is greater? Let's see. S1 greater than S2. So that means what? S1 is, it starts with S and S2 is R actually. S is greater than R by one character, you know. So when you actually represent them with ASCII, so first R comes, next S comes, right? So S is greater uh, than R by one character. So what is the positive value you will get is 1. Now S1 less than S2. If S1 is less than S2, then you will get a negative value. Right? For example, it's actually reverse. Let's say S2. When I'm comparing S1 and S2, if S1 is less than S2, then we will get a negative value actually. Okay, and if S1 equal to S2, then we are going to get 0. Right? So it takes two strings, compare character by character, and S is greater, then it is going to give you the positive value, that is the difference between those two characters, and it is less than, and it is gives the difference, but it is actually gives a negative value actually, right? So we'll see some examples. And yeah, so this is how we can use it, S1 compared to of S2. And of course we can have compared to ignore case also. Okay, so whenever we are actually authenticating our usernames or passwords, we will be using these methods, right? For example, your usernames and passwords are stored in the DB. And now you are actually reading your name and password from the UI, some form, login form. And then you have to write a Java program which actually takes these values from the form and it fetches the values from the database and it compares. In order to compare, you either use equals method or you can actually use comparative method. So authentication purposes, these methods are useful. And mostly your usernames and passwords will be strings only, right? So that's the use of the string comparison. And coming to the third one, so third one is a little different than first two. So it compares references, not the contents actually. It compares the references. So every object returns a reference back, right? That is a hash code value. So the double equal to compares hash codes, not actually the contents. Okay, so we know some objects are stored in the heap, some objects are stored in the string constant pool. So their hash code values will be different, right? Even if they stored in the heap or string constant pool, they may have different hash code values, right? So then this double equal to operator compares them and returns the Boolean value, right? If S1 is a string, S2 is a string, it compares whether their references are equal or not. If they are equal, it says true. If they are not equal, it says false actually. So these are the three methods which are there. Of course, to compare the strings, and of course we have equals ignore case and equals compare to ignore case also. And later there are few methods. There are so many methods in string class. Few methods we will discuss like substring, and then we have some length method which gives the length of the string, and caret method, very useful method actually, character at particular string. So we'll discuss them. So before actually discussing substring, length, caret, etc., let's now understand string comparison with a program. Now I have a program over here, public class string comparison. And in my main method, so I have string s1 equal to Sachin, string s2 equal to Sachin. Now actually where it will get stored, now we know, right? So it is in string constant pool because that's a string literal, and this is also going to be in string constant pool. Now for this line, actually this line, how many objects will get created? String s3 equal to new string. Whenever new string, it goes to heap. So heap, there is an object that is going to get created, and the Sachin, it has to get created in the string constant pool, but already it is there, so only one object will be there. At string s4 equal to new string, when you say new, again it goes to the heap, and we have an object over there. Then Virat is actually literal, and that literal is already created, so you will have only one object. Fine. So for the first four statements, you will have four objects. So two in string constant pool, which has reference s1 and s2, and two in heap, actually s3 and s4 are the references. Now when I say string s5 equal to Sachin, if you observe here, this s is small actually. So this Sachin is not, Sachin is there in the string constant pool, but that is a different constant, and this is a different constant, so it is also going to get created in the string constant pool. So now I have five objects created. So three in string constant pool and two in the heap actually. So now let me have one more object created. So string s6 equal to a new string of Rohit. Okay, so new string of Rohit. Okay, so now how many objects will get created for this line? Definitely two. When you say new, it is going to be heap, and there is one object created, and Rohit is a string literal, and it is not created earlier here in this program. So one more in string constant pool actually, right? So string constant pool has no reference, but heap has a reference actually, right? So all together, so I have 6 lines actually. How many objects are going to get created? So how many objects here? 5 plus 2, total 7 objects for 6 lines actually. So how many in string constant pool? 4 in string constant pool, because we have four literals, Sachin, Virat, then Sachin in small case, and Rohit actually. And how many times you say new, those many times object is going to get created in the heap. So total 7, 3 in heap and 4 in string constant pool. I think this is now understandable. Yeah, now let's use the comparison actually, right? I am directly saying system.out.println s1 dot equals of s1 dot equals of, okay, so I am saying s1 dot equals of s3. So what about this answer? S1 is what? Sachin, right? And S3 is what? S3 is also Sachin, right? Of course, their references are different, but the contents are same. So it is going to give us true actually. The output is going to be true. Now let's see. I'm saying S1 dot equals ignore case. Now I say equals ignore case. Equals ignore case of, equals ignore case, C capital actually, equals ignore case of S5. What about this actually? S1 dot equals ignore case of S5. So what is S5? Sachin in smaller. S1 is Sachin in mixed case, capital, first letter is capital actually. So this also should give me true, because I am saying ignore the case actually, right? Now let me Let me actually have one more. S1 dot equals of S2. What about this? S1 dot equals of S2. Definitely it is false. S1 contents are Sachin, S2 contents are Virat, then it's definitely going to be false. So this is about equals actually. So let me show you that it's going to work. Later we will go to compare to. Okay, so let me compile Java C strcmp.java. Compiled successfully. When I say strcmp, then now you can actually see true, true, false, right? So S1 dot equals of S3 is true, S1 dot equals of S5 is true, and S1 dot equals of S2 is false because Sachin is not equal to Virat. Fine. So yeah. So now let's add string compare to actually. Okay. So directly here, what I'm doing compare to, it is going to give us integer actually. So now what I'm saying is S1 compare to of S1 compare to. So T capital S1 compare to of S5. So what is the value actually? S1 is Sachin, right? So now it start comparing S1 Sachin S capital and S5 is Sachin again. That is small s, right? So what is the difference between S? Which is bigger? Small s is bigger or capital S is bigger? Definitely small s is bigger, right? Capital A starts from 65 and small a starts from 97. So small s is bigger. Small s is bigger actually. So bigger by how many? Actually 32. The difference between capital A to small a is 32 because 97 minus 65 is how much? 32. So now every small case minus capital case is 32 characters. Now S1 is smaller, right? So now I have to expect minus 32. Okay. So now the same thing if you do in reverse actually. S2 compare to of S2 compare to of S5. Now what should happen? Now you are going to get 32 because S2 is bigger. So positive number, right? So let me also have one more statement. System.out.println S1 compare to of, otherwise we will take one more thing actually. Okay, so I will compare S3 or S2 with S4. S2 compare to of S2 dot compare to of S4. Compare to of S4. S2 is Virat and S4 is also Virat, right? Both are same. So it should be 0. Should be 0. Let me actually show by executing this. Okay, let me compile this. It got compiled and now see the outcome actually. Yeah. Okay. So now I have compared actually S5, right? So S1 compared to of S5 is minus 32. That's fine. Then what I'm doing S2 compared to of S5. S2 is how much? S2 is Virat, capital V. Compared to of S5, that is actually Sachin. Smallest is bigger. How many letters bigger? 29 letters bigger. Actually, I thought of giving you here S5 compared to of S1. So the reverse actually. So when I say S1 compared to S5 32, S5 compared to S1, that should be 32. Right? That's what actually I thought of doing, but typing mistake happened. So let me compile here again and run now. Now you can actually see, right? S1 is smaller than S5, right? By 32 characters. And S5 now greater than S1 by 32 characters. So that's what positive and negative. And S2 compared to of S4 actually. So here S4, S2 is Virat and compare with S4, both are Virat. So then I should actually see here again 0. So let me compile again and show you that that is going to give me 0. Now last one you can actually see as 0. So in the same fashion we can compare different things also. Let me do one more comparison. System dot out dot println. I would like to compare S3 with S6. S3 compare to of S6. So what is the output? We can actually say now S3 is Sachin, the contents, right? Compare to takes the contents, and S6 is Rohit. So capital S is bigger than capital R by how much? 1 actually, right? Yeah, so now this I want to show you, and I want to show this one actually. So S1 compare to ignore case of S5. S1 compare to ignore case of S5. So now I will actually see that both are equal. Compare to ignore case. I don't want to take care of the case. I want to ignore actually. Now this is going to give me, because S2 is Sachin, S1 is Sachin, and S5 is also Sachin, but small letter. Now ignore case, so that is going to give me 0. Let's see. Let's see. So compile, and when you run, actually, you can see, yeah. So you can see first, what is that? Line number 20, S3 compared of S6. So S is greater than R, so greater by 1 value, so positive value. If you do it reverse, -1 you will get. And S1 compared to ignore case of S5, that is 0, right? Because I'm ignoring the case actually, right? So this is about compare to also. Now let me actually tell you the third comparison, and very interesting, and that is the double equal to operator compares references, right? So now I am going to say system.out.println S1 double equal to S3. S1 double equal to S3. What is the value actually here? What is S1? S1 is Sachin. S3 is also having Sachin. But S1 is there in string constant pool, its reference is different. And S3 is there in heap, its reference is different. And similarly, so what is the value actually? So it should be false. It should be false, right? Because references are different, no? Now let me actually do with S2 and S4 also. S2 and S4. Okay, S2 is Virat and S4 is also Virat, but S2 is in string constant pool, S4 is in heap actually. So again they are false. Again they are false. Okay, fine. So now what I want to do is, I would like to add one more line here. String S7 equal to Sachin. String S7 equal to Sachin. So object will get created here. No, no object, because the Sachin is already there in the string constant pool. No object in SAP because already exists. This object is already existing in the string constant pool, so no object is getting created. But reference will be returned back. So both S1 and S7 will be referring to the string constant pool object actually. So now if you say system.out.println S1 double equal to S7, both are referring to the same object. Their references are same. That is true actually, right? So let me now compile and show you that this is going to work fine. Yeah, now let me compile successfully, and when I run, now you can actually see false, false, true, false, false, true. So by using double equal to operator, we can prove that single literals are going to get stored separately, which are in constant pool, and anything that is going to get created with new operator is in the heap. So that's why when I say S1 equal to S3, it is giving you false. S1 is string constant pool, that is somewhere, and S3, which is also Sachin, but it is in the heap area. Same is the case with S2 and S4, right? But S1 and S7, so S7 is already there. So now JVM will not create another object, just it will give the reference back. So S1 and S7 both are referring to string constant pool, and the object is Sachin. So now I can get the true value over here, right? So this is about string comparison. This is about string comparison. Hope you have understood. Okay, so now let me actually tell you about a few methods. Of course, length method, caret method, substring method. In fact, I can actually find out length of instance. For example, I want to find any string here. So simply I say system.out.println let's say s1 dot length, length. So length means the number of characters in the string actually. So how many numbers are there? SACHIN. So 6 actually. The length of Sachin is 6. In the same fashion, if you'd like to print uh, for Virat, so you can actually give either S4 or S2. So now this time I'm giving S4. So S4 dot length. So length method is actually going to give us uh, the size of that string actually. That means the number of characters. Okay, so we have a length attribute for arrays. We have a length method over here for string. And in the same fashion, we can use this particular caret method. So now I would like to get character at particular this thing. So now, for example, I'm saying S6. S6 is Rohit. S6 dot caret of S6 dot caret of. Now length will be actually 5, right? So now 0, 1, 2. So if, for example, caret of 2 I say, then caret of 2 will be 0 will be R O H. H will be the character at that. So caret method will give us the character at that particular index actually, right? So like that we have several other methods also. We have so many other methods also. Yeah, let's now actually execute and understand these two methods. Then we will understand the substring as well. Java string comparison.java. And now you observe the length actually here. Yeah, so 6 is there, the length 6, and I'm getting 5 over here, and I'm getting the H over here. Like that, there are good number of methods there. In some, almost 100 methods are there, but these are some of the useful methods. Okay, so now I will tell you the substring and the use of caret with another example. So let me actually take one more. So let's say string demo 1. Okay, so this is my class actually. And let me save this as string demo1.java. Where we will discuss about substring as well as that caret. Okay, so here I have my main method. So in the main method, what I want to do is, let's say string some s1 equal to string s1 equal to let's say here welcome to Java. So welcome to Java. So what is the length actually here? So straight away I can ask s1 dot length, length, length. Okay, so it will give me the length actually. So welcome, this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 plus 4, 14 is actually the length. Okay, so if it all we want to know, then we can actually see here Java C. So now this is string demo, right? string demo 1.java. Now let's compile and let's run also. Yeah, sorry, 15. So welcome is 7 plus space is 8, then 2, 10, and one space 11 plus 4. Total 15 actually, it's not 14. So space also there, I calculate one space wrong. So total 15 are there. Right? That's the length method actually. Now we can actually get a substring also. We have two substring methods. So how I can get the substring? So one is with one parameter only, another substring method with two parameters. So let me actually give you the substring also. So for s1 dot substring of, let's say I'm saying substring of let's say 7. Okay, now what happens? So from the index 7 onward to the end actually. So index 7 means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means space. From the space onwards, the substring is going to come actually, because I have given only one offset value, one index value. From the 7th index, it's actually starts. Otherwise, let me start with the 6 actually, because when I give 6, it's going to start with E space to Java. That's actually going to come actually here. So now let me write. So E, then space 2, and then Java. So this is how it's going to print me. Okay. So now one more substring. So system dot s1 dot substring of. So now here also I'm giving only one value. So let's say I say substring of 0. So that means from the beginning it will give whole string. So 0 to the end, it is going to give me the whole string. So let me compile and show you this. Let me compile and show you this. Yeah, so when I run, now you can see the size is 15 and substring of 6, it is actually starting from E because index starts from 0 and 6 is E, right? So whenever I give 6 or 0, this is inclusive actually. So only one value I'm giving, that is inclusive. That means from that index onwards, it will come, right? When I say 0, whole string is coming up. Whole string is coming up actually, right? So now what I want to do is, I want to use another substring method which take two parameters. So now I can say s1 dot substring of, now I can specify two. So first index and the last index, right? So now I am saying 0 comma 7, 0 comma 7. So what is the value actually? When I say 0 comma 7, it starts from 0, that is W, and 7 is actually what's space. 6 is E, right? 7 is space. So now it is going to give me welcome. It's going to give me welcome. So here that space is not going to get printed. Okay, so that means the end index is exclusive. The end index is exclusive. That's what you have to learn actually. So we have two indices. We have end index and start index. End index is always exclusive. That's not considered. Okay, so start index is always inclusive. So start index, you have to include it while you are getting it. See, when I say 0, 0 should be included. That is W. 7, 7 has to be get excluded. So that 7 is space and space is not going to get printed. Okay, so and I will give you one more example for this s1 dot substring of. Now I want to give actually, so for 15 is my A, right? So total, yeah, not 15, 14 is my A, 0, 1 to 14. So what I'm saying is, let's say 11 comma 14. So what will be the answer? What is 11? 11 should be inclusive. 11, 12, 13 and 14. 14 is A. So 11 means J. So J should print, and 14 is A. 14 should be exclusive. So it will print just JAV because the 14th one is actually exclusive. The size is 15 means index will start from 0 to 14, right? Yeah. So that's what you have to understand. So start index you have to consider, end index you have to leave it. Let's see. Control L and let me compile and let me run. So then you can actually see welcome is coming up and space is included, excluded, and JAV A is actually excluded because it is end index is exclusive actually. Okay, that's about the substring methods, right? And finally, now I want to read a character. This is important actually. Reading a character. Read a character from the user, from the keyboard or user. So this is what we have to discuss. So because we don't have any method to read characters in Java, whatever you take actually command line arguments, everything is to string array. You take scanner, we have next int, next boolean, next string, next method, next line methods, which all read different types, but there is no next char method. Even in buffer reader also, we have read line method only. There is no read character method. So how to read a single character? How to read a single character? Okay, so you have to make use of read line method only, right? Or next method, whatever it is. So you cannot read a single character, but you can read a character as a string. You can read character as a string, and you can get character from out of it. There is no way directly to read a character in Java. It should come as a string only. Whether you use buffer reader or the scanner or you're using console, you have read line methods or next methods which read line of text or some strings only. No method to read character. So how to read actually? So now let me ask the user to enter a character. Enter a character. Okay, so user will enter only character. Now I have to read it. So what I do, I will read like this: char ch equal to so how to read. So I require some buffer reader or scanner or something. So now I am going to use scanner because we have understood scanner, right? So let me create a scanner object here. So I am creating the scanner object like this. So java dot util dot scanner some in equal to new java dot util dot scanner. So this is fully qualified name. I am using the fully qualified name, right? So I'm not importing, rather I am using the fully qualified name. You can do that, right? Yeah. So now with in, I am going to read it actually. In dot next. Okay, I don't have a next character. I'm using the next. So it reads what? Reads a string token. Reads a string token. So that means even give now x, the x will be read as double quotes only. Okay. So then this is a compile time error. This is a compile time error because it says string and you cannot assign it to char and you cannot print it. Okay, now you want to print ch, then it's going to be an error. So I will show you actually. Okay, so now I want to write, so character read is, yeah, I'm actually trying to print like this, but it's going to be an error actually. So what is an error? Incompatible types. Incompatible types. That's the error that I'm going to get. It's a compile time error for sure because yeah, incompatible type string cannot be converted to a character, right? So in there is no method, so I'm trying to read with next method. Next actually reads in a string and I want to get back actually. So can I parse it back? We have any parse character method? No. So how to get a character here? How to get a character here? So now what you need to do is that caret method, what I'm discussing, right? This caret method is useful over here. So what I do is I will read this one. I will read this one in dot next. But what I do here, I will read this one simply to tell, not directly into char ch. What I do is I will read that to a string. Okay, so some string str. I'm reading that to some string str. There is no problem, right? With string, there is no problem. So in dot next string. So after that, what I do is I will use char ch equal to. So I will use the caret method. So str dot caret of. I know I'm going to have only one character, right? So caret of 0. Caret of 0, because I'm asking for a character, only one character is given. So that character will be in the form of string, but that will be at the index 0, right? So now I will get this particular character at this one. For example, if I give x, that x I will read actually and give it to ch, and ch will get printed, right? So now in order to read character, you have to use caret of. Caret of, you read the character into a string, ask for caret 0th index, because your string is having only one character and the index is at 0 only, right? So that's how we can actually read a character in Java, right? This is interview question. People will ask how to read character. You don't have any method, so now you have to do with this only, right? Now it's compiled, there is no issue, and when I run, now everything getting printed. I am asking enter a character. I said capital X. Now character read is X. Now you want to read one more character, you want to read Y, and character read is Y actually. So this is how this caret method is helpful. Okay, so this is about string comparison and some of the useful methods like length, substring, and caret. So hope you understood strings, and this is about string handling in Java. And hope to see you in the next session with Java IO. Thank you.